I'll try to be as succinct with this with our first reading in Revelation. The first 3 chapters, which would have been the last 2 days, covered the 7 letters to the 7 churches in Asia Minor. And within it, the author John is telling these 7 churches about what's happening right now in this present moment. Some are good, some are bad, some are lukewarm. Okay? But when we get into chapter 4, which is today's first reading, the beginning of chapter 4, we're going to learn about what must happen soon. And so this is what really the rest of the book of Revelation is going to be. Okay? A vision that John sees. So here's the one hint that I want to help you out with as you listen to these readings, and they're going to sound weird and strange. Here's the best advice I received in the seminary from Monsignor McGee about this. He said, when you hear the description of these creatures, do not try to create a mental picture of it in your mind. These images aren't meant to be visualized. Instead, they're descriptive. They tell about the attributes of these particular figures. Okay, so that's the key. Don't try to picture it. All right, and I'll give you some examples of what I mean by this. So let's look at it real quickly. Okay, so a vision to the door to heaven is opened, which is really what the whole book is all about. It's an apocalypse, which means what? An unveiling. Okay, so the veil has been lifted. The veil to heaven has been lifted to John, and now he sees what's in heaven. Now, what does he see? After being instructed to come up and show what must happen, he sees what does he see in heaven? He sees a throne. Appearance like jasper and carnelian. These are red stones. Okay? Around the throne was a halo as brilliant as the emerald. Okay, so he sees a throne. Doesn't tell us what's on the throne yet, that there's just a throne. And this throne is magnificent. Okay? Around the throne, 24 elders. Now, who are the 24? Okay, now again, numbers are also symbolic. 24 is a combination of 12 and 12. 12 tribes of Israel in the Old Testament, 12 apostles in the New Testament. The entire people of God, Old and New Testament. That's what this symbolizes. That's what this represents. 24 elders, Old and New Testament, and they're wearing gold crowns, which means they share in the authority and the kingship of God. That's what we receive at our baptism, by the way. There's 3 things. One of them is kingship. Okay? We're going to see later on that these 24 elders are also priests. They act and function as priests. They're wearing white garments. White is the symbolism of holiness. Okay? And again, they have those gold crowns. With the throne, there's flashes of lightning, rumblings, and pearls of thunder. You're going to hear that many times throughout the book of Revelation. Okay, that phrase. Flashes of lightning, rumblings, and pearls of thunder. Again, just signs of the presence and the appearance of God. 7 flaming torches burn in front of the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. In front of the throne was something resembled like a sea of glass, like crystal. So these are also images of the temple. The temple in the inner sanctuary had that 7-candle menorah. Okay, so now we see in the heavenly temple the 7 burning torches. Also in the temple, there was a bronze basin of water, which represented the sea, as well as like in the dome in the sky. So we see a sea of glass like crystal. All that's happening here is John is seeing really the heavenly temple. So remember, when the Israelites built the earthly temple, it was meant to represent the true heavenly temple in heaven. John is getting a vision of the temple. There's more, and again, I'll try to be quick with this. In the center and around the throne, so not only do we have those 24 elders, we have these 4 living creatures. Now, this is why you don't visualize these descriptions, because these 4 living creatures have eyes covered in the front and the back. Okay, don't picture it. It's not meant to be pictured. What is it telling us about these 4 living creatures? That they can see all things, right? You use that expression with your kids that I have eyes behind the back of my head, right? That's the same thing going on here. These four living creatures can see everything, all right? These four living creatures are probably maybe kind of making an allusion to Genesis when Adam and Eve are expelled from the garden. And then it says that there's these angelic beings that guard the garden. That's kind of like what these four living creatures are. They kind of guard the heavenly sanctuary. Now, these four living creatures, one resembled a lion, a calf, a face of a man, and an eagle in flight. Okay, now, traditionally, we might say, oh, well, those are the four gospel writers. Well, early church fathers did associate these four creatures with the gospel writers. That's absolutely true. We're not sure if that's what's intended here in the book, okay, in this first reading. But we do know is that these also can represent virtue. So the lion being the noblest, the calf being what? The strongest. The man, the face of the man being the wisest, and the eagle representing the swiftest. So those four kind of very positive attributes these four living creatures have. And I'll end with this. What are they doing? They say day and night, nonstop, exclaiming, holy, holy, holy. Whenever you hear the word holy repeated 3 times, it means the ultimate holiness. Holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was, who is, and who is to come. Okay? That God is most holy. Most importantly, what separates him from everything else is that he was, is, and will be to come, past, present, and future. Only God can have that type of title, not us. And whenever these living creatures give glory and honor and thanks to the one who's on the throne, the 24 elders fall down and worship. Okay, exclaiming, worthy are you, Lord God, to receive glory, power, and honor. We'll hear that phrase again. Why? Here's the reason. For you have created all things. So in the beginning, there's more. Tomorrow there's more. Chapter 5 is kind of part 2 of this reading here. But the first reason is John looks into the heavenly temple and he sees worship going on with the entire people of God, these four mysterious creatures. What's the reason? The reason is for creation. Okay? Is for creation. Okay, and I'll stop right here because I went a little too long. But we're going to see another reason, okay, why we give praise and worship to God. The first reason is for creation. And tomorrow, you'll have to come back tomorrow to figure out what the other reason is. May God bless you.